Preparing to live stream the meeting. Setting up for meeting live stream.
Says it's going.
It's happening.
Done. Redirecting, and you are live. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live on YouTube. The Haute Dokimazo crew here. I'm Liz.
I'm Nicole.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tui.
And we are so excited to be here with you today to talk about Secret Family Refresh. So you may have heard that back in 2019, we did this thing called Haute Dokimazo Secret Family Reunion, where we whisked away 80 experiential marketers to an unknown location. They met us at the airport with a suitcase and a passport, and we took them to Tuscany, but they didn't know that till they got to the airport. This year, as we come back from an insane little year, we are giving you one little gift, and that is the gift of knowledge. We are telling you that our Secret Family Refresh will take place at the Atlantis Resort, Paradise Island in the Bahamas, but we're not telling you anything else that's happening. Every moment of every day will be a surprise, a secret, an insane adventure, but we do want you to feel comfortable with what's happening. We do want you to know what it's going to be like, and we don't know what it's going to be like by the time we get to July 27th, which is the day our event begins. What we do know is what it's like right now, and we want to bring you on this journey with us. Our girl Tui was just there. When was it? Last week?
Oh gosh, yes, about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, it's such a blur. And so she has experienced live firsthand what it's like to travel there, to go through the COVID testing, daily tests, I understand, where we're wearing masks, where you feel safe. And we want to know all the juicy details. So Tui, why were you there at Atlantis 2 weeks ago?
Well, I was originally there for Search Foundation. We did our hybrid board retreat there. So we were first group to really be the pioneers to experience it during COVID.
So tell us about the Search Foundation.
So Search Foundation is nonprofit for event professionals by event professionals for those who are experiencing hardship. So it could be anything from wildfires to hospitals to just hurricanes or anything of that sort. If you are an event professional, it's completely anonymous and you can apply for a grant, and we turn that baby around pretty fast.
That's incredible, incredible. So you just flew down there. What did you need to do before traveling down? Obviously, to get to the Bahamas, you need a passport, but there's a travel visa for health. Explain this.
Absolutely. So now there is a travel health visa. You have to apply. And in order to get that approved, it's going to be a negative COVID test, a certain particular kind. There's a lot of information. The Bahamas, Visit Bahamas team does an incredible job emailing you. The process is pretty easy, but it has to be a negative COVID test 5 days prior to flying there. And you have to print it out and show proof of it, and you get an approved mark on it. And then that's the only way, along with your passport, you're able to enter into the Bahamas.
How do you know where to go to get all this testing done? Do they give you information, or do you just
at your local so I'm based in LA currently, so I was able to go get my COVID test here in the city. The requirements is just having the date, of course, the results, the location, what the company is called. I believe there's 5 or 6 things, and they'll tell you that when you're going in to apply for it. Of course, you have to give them your flight information, how long you're staying, and then there's additional rules after that if it's after X amount of days.
And you just applied online and it gave you all the info? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And what was it like kind of, had you traveled before that? I guess from, your door to getting there, were you surprised at, certain things being buttoned up, and what was kind of your journey like to get there?
Oh my goodness. I was so blown away with how safe I felt, first off. The second you get there, even to the airport, there's signs everywhere about wearing face masks, about being socially distanced. The staff at the Atlantis really followed protocol. Anytime we got into a new area, we were encouraged to use hand sanitizer, and they're placed all over the place. And so using that, even the staff, like I said, they were following protocol. If you walked into a room or you were too close, they would ask you to just keep distant. And they just did such a great job in regards to that. Like the second you enter the airport, everyone is just trying to bring our industry back safely, right? The tourism industry, the events industry, all industries. And so in order to do that, they have done such a great job as a country to implement all that, and in a way that's so easy for visitors to understand as well.
That's incredible. So when you're on site, do you have to wear a mask everywhere you go?
Yes, mainly everywhere. I believe when you're at the pool, for example, or if you're dining at a restaurant with your group, you're able to take them off. But after you've sat down or after you've like found that beach chair and you settle there. If I were to go use the restroom, for example, I would then be putting my face mask on again. And they tend to keep us in the groups that we came with so that it doesn't, overexpose or, any cross contaminations or anything of that sort. But I would say dining and like pool time would probably be the two areas where
did they do any tracking, like contact tracing while you were on site?
So the Bahamas, there's two requirements. Every single day I had to fill out a survey saying that I feel well, I haven't been in contact with anyone with COVID, I haven't traveled outside my bubble. And so then that's a requirement. You actually get a non-compliance email if you do not submit one of those every single day that you're there.
Oh, wow.
And on top of that, after day 5 of being there, you actually have to go and take a COVID test. And so luckily they give you a whole entire list, but luckily at the Atlantis, they had a location. And so I was able just to walk on over, and it was a quick process. I went on, made an appointment, and I think within like 2 hours, they sent me my results back. So then I was able to submit it to Bahamas. So everyone's doing a great job communicating between departments, between areas to make sure that, every visitor is there, feels safe, and is, being safe, not just for themselves and their families or their groups, but then for their staff, for the locals there as well.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And in like on the floors where the rooms are, did they have space in between like your room and then, nobody else was for a couple more rooms, or how did the spacing work for the rooms themselves?
That's a great question. I would say I felt really, well, this is the beginning, right, of them reopening and everything. And so it was a bittersweet moment to feel so fortunate to see it not like, it's usually, that place is always just like jamming, high packed, and there's so many people there. And so when I went to go visit, it was more like, we're coming back, we're awakening, right? And so there was, I believe, I don't know, it was a really low percentage of occupancy there. So they were able to then distance us, even in the hotel rooms. Yeah, actually thinking about it, I didn't think I have anyone next to me on either side there.
Did they take advantage of the outdoor space? I'm assuming you did most of your activities out there.
Absolutely, which was great because I think it was cold for them, but it was in the 70s. And so that was great. And a lot of these spaces that we did meet were all just outside. And it was wonderful to be able to be in that Bahamas sun. And then also to see this property is humongous. Yeah. And so to go and be in spaces that you wouldn't even expect them to be, a place where you can meet, open up, go right on your laptop and have the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi there was incredible. No matter where I was or walking through, I always had it on.
I have to say, when we first went there, Nicole and I got to go visit it, January, February of last year, before all the craziestness happened. I had never had a high opinion of wanting to go there because I was like, Vegas on the beach, that's like great kind of thing. And we got down there and I was blown away. It was nothing like what I thought it was going to be. The stat, like everyone that works there has been there for over 20 years. They're incredible stories from all the people. Every moment that I went to felt like I was in this unique small space where I was cared for. It was the polar opposite of everything I thought it was going to be.
Yes. And absolutely. I felt like we were the only ones there or the only ones that they cared about, but they weren't, not talking to somebody else. So
but we weren't there during the pandemic. We were there before all of that. So it was crowded, but I didn't feel it at all. Nope,
not at all. And it was amazing. Just even the eye contact and they would start a conversation with you and then we would have one and, they kind of just led with it. It was so amazing. And they just were free to share their personal stories, where they were from, their backgrounds, which I thought was amazing. I love how even on their name tags, they put how long they've worked there. Because when somebody worked there, 30, 40 years, I'm like, wow, what was this place like when you first opened? And they would just tell you all these stories. And it was amazing. I was waiting to get invited over one of their houses for dinner, honestly. So
I got invited some.
While you were there, I know you talked to a lot of folks. Do you have a favorite story or anyone that you met that you just thought was incredible?
Oh my goodness. Well, I love just the marketing and just the announcement of Secret Family Refresh, because instead of just showcasing, of course, the beautiful property and all the things, the amenities, instead, we decided to get to know the staff. So my role was to go around and just talk to them, right? The bellmen from housekeeping, all the way from those who are feeding the animals to the cafe staff. I would say one of my favorites, oh gosh, but there was just two lovely ladies at the cafe, and they had me laughing the whole entire time. But I would say one that was really impactful is Tamika. She's been with the company, I believe, 22 years, and she is the queen of the Royal Towers in housekeeping, and her story is just incredible. And it was like a one and done kind of ordeal. And then we had a conversation afterwards about just really the hardship, right? Like how we are all safely trying our best to move forward, and having her be a part of this property for over 2 decades. It's really like heartwarming, but it's also a moment of like, wow, they're struggling too. And so to be here and to help keep them in business it was such a human level moment where we just put everything aside. We didn't even record that moment. I actually ended up, I didn't even post it or anything, but I wrote her a letter. And I was like, thank you for opening space up and feeling comfortable talking to me about that. And, these are the conversations that need to happen in order for us to truly understand. And so Tamika, I'm coming, like, cannot wait to see her again. Liz, it's just like, everyone is so incredible. And the thing is, you're right. Like when they talk to you, they are so focused. You are that person that they want to engage with fully and in the present moment. And they are so happy to share I learned a lot about slang. So like, what's the sip, which is like the drama, like, what's the gossip from, like Muddistick. And we were just laughing and rolling around, just talking about even food and what their favorite foods is. And just more the traditional kinds of, and they would like describe these items. And when they do it with just such love and such passion when it comes out. It feels really authentic, which I agree with, as you mentioned, like you wouldn't think that way when it came to the Bahamas because it's such a touristy location, but there's just some real genuine like cultural experiences.
Well, and I think it's special to Atlantis because Nicole and I did pop over to another location while we were on the island just to check it out. And we did not have that same experience. It was very much Vegas on the beach. Oh. And I will not name where we went, but Atlantis was very special. Like it was very, because we thought the same thing. We're like, well, maybe it's all Bahamians. Maybe they're all just amazing. But it was a very different experience at the other place.
Ooh, another moment, I would say human moments. I went and got my hair braided just like on the first day or so. And I was like, this is what I wanted. And her name, it'll come to me. But later on, the next day, I was walking around that beach area and she goes, hey, Chewy. And I go, you remember my and I was like, my hair. She was like, you look good, girl. I'm like, thanks, you did it. She did it, you guys. And I just couldn't believe, especially because my name's a unique name for her to say, like, to see me from across, not even in her area, and just to shout, give me a little shout out. That's like that community there. And it is like because of COVID, we had to stay in our bubble because if you go out, you have to get retested and all this stuff. So we're like, no, we'll stay here. This is not a bad place to be anyway.
Yeah.
And I really think that speaks volumes as far as Atlantis as a company as well, is to give their employees the freedom that this place, that Bahamian spirit and the soul is not this building. It's very pretty and it's great to be down here, but it is truly the people, because I can tell you when we did go to that other place, it's pretty, but it was nothing like, I didn't want to be there. Yeah. And I wanted to be there. And I felt like I was putting people out, like they weren't happy I was there. So I felt bad being there. And that's like the opposite way that you should feel. So I just really feel like the, leadership of Atlantis and the soul that they've built a place around has been intact since the beginning of, when they first started building it, which is really impressive and rare today in business.
Yeah. So Tui, while you were there, you talked about meeting all these people, talking to all these people, great time, you were laughing, but all with your mask on. How did you feel about that? Did you feel like there was a barrier, or was everything just awesome? You just happened to have a mask on?
It was awesome. And we just happened to have masks on. And if anything, there was moments where we would say, oh, could you repeat that? Because maybe there's a plexiglass, for example, in front of when you first check in. And they're just so nice. Like they completely understand. They'll just speak louder. Sometimes masks, they come down, which is, so, as they're talking, we'll just pull them up. But there's just a level of respect. And I felt so safe. There wasn't a moment where a staff member came at me with no mask on and they're all over my face. They were really aware of understanding the safety protocols in it, but then also keeping it genuine and special in those little moments of interactions. Because I think that's the one thing. Another moment, actually, I just remembered is one of the supervisors at the Plato's Cafe, which is in front of the Royals Towers. They were closed. We didn't realize that there was nothing open. They have a curfew actually at 10 p.m. And so staff needs to be home by then. And so I didn't eat dinner. I'm on Pacific Standard Time. And one of the supervisors, I don't know what, he was just making sandwiches, but nothing is like open. So I went up to him. I asked him, I was like, oh, could we, have sandwiches? I didn't really understand what he said. So I started walking away. He goes, no, you hungry? Let me make you some sandwiches then. Come. It was closed. And for him to do that was just a moment, like he chased after me. I was like, no, I think you misunderstood. Like, come back. I can make you sandwich. You want sandwiches? And I was like, thank you. I'm really hungry. But yeah, face mask, everything. There was not a moment. I don't think there was a moment where I was like, oh, this could have been better without a face mask. Or if you were if you were 5 feet closer to me, they were just, yeah.
So when you came back from this trip, you were telling us, you were like, oh my God, you could go here and we could do this here and we could do this here and we could do this here and we have to do this here. We have to do this here. What is the one thing that you think anyone coming to Secret Family Refresh has to do while they are at Atlantis?
Oh my goodness. Has to do. I mean, can I say that? Because like our whole entire agenda is like on the
anything. I'm just wondering what you think they have to do.
Okay, if I would have to say anything, it's swimming with the dolphins.
Swim with a dolphin, okay.
Swimming with the dolphins. That whole entire dolphin team is hilarious. Like the first roundabout, and I wish I could, if his name is drawing blank right now, but he goes, he sends them off and he goes, release the giants! And he has such fun personalities. On top of the dolphins, they're just like, they're also hilarious, waving at you and doing all their tricks. But I would say it is so easily accessible too. Like everything that you could, all these activities are on property.
Yeah.
And so to go to the dolphin area is just, right around the corner.
Yeah. And I love that the dolphins are rescued, right? So it's not like they're not there for entertainment. Like this is a true rescue place that we get to go into and interact with, which I love that it's just inviting us into, being with them and experiencing that. And, these are dolphins that they couldn't release back into the ocean. So, I mean, what a beautiful home that they've created for them.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. And there's so many animals there that they just like nurse back to health. There's a turtle named, I think, what is it? Hook. And it's missing an arm. There's it got like a hook. There's one named Hope, which is I believe a stingray. And they talk about this. And I do my morning walks, and the Blue Project was there just to educate whoever was around. Hey, come around. We're gonna do some feedings, and they go about and they talk about those moments. And it's nice because it's like spontaneous collision, right? You wouldn't expect that, and then all of a sudden there's a morning walk, you end up just experiencing and learning about the animals that are there and what they're doing, like all the beautiful, beautiful things that they're doing to stay sustainable and eco-friendly and all that stuff.
Yeah. Can you think of anything during your trip that maybe you wished had happened, or something that you wish you had known before traveling or coming back? Now, were you actually, sidebar, were you in the Bahamas when they instituted that you must have a negative test before re-entering?
No, actually, that's a great question. So it took into effect, actually, I think it takes into effect today, which is the 26th. But I did get that notification when they announced it. And so it happened, luckily, it was after I got back. But yeah, that's something to also consider.
But Atlantis has the testing station on site, right?
So we already have the testing station on site. So there, and if you have any questions, they stay on top of all that information, both on Bahamas side and on the traveler side. And so it's as easy as going to the front desk, and they can give you all the necessary information.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So anything that you wished you had known or wished had happened?
Wish I have known. I would say something that I did, because my parents, every single day, I would say like, hey, I'm going swimming with dolphins. Yes, but did you go down the slide? Or like, hey, I get to eat dinner in front of this beautiful, like tank of fish. Yeah, but did you go down the slide? That's the number one thing. And I was having I've never gone down a straight slide before, and that's behind Nicole actually has the background there. Or one of them. The other one, you go down and you could go through the
shark tank. Yeah.
And it is incredible. And so one thing I wish I knew was it's not even that bad. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like climbing those stairs, but I would do that completely again. And so if it's going to be one advice, do not be afraid of that slide that goes into that shark tank. I absolutely recommend it. And I would go down with you.
Awesome.
Great.
This has been fantastic. Nicole, do you have any other questions?
No. Okay. Yes. I would say, what is the one item, like, do not forget to pack this? What is that one item?
Ooh, do not forget to pack. Oh, that's such a good question. I don't know. Like the first thing my logistical brain goes into like, I was going to say a hat, like a sun hat, or, like a cap, because there are beaches that are right there. And so I would say to protect, like sunscreen, that kind of stuff. But I would say like a fun hat would be awesome. Don't forget to bring just like a fun hat that represents your personality, and so that when you're laying by the pool or by the beach, or even just like walking around, you're protecting yourself, but you're also in that vibe, right? You're in the Bahamas, so enjoy it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, this has been the Secret Family Refresh Fresh Take, episode 1. We will be doing these live interstitials between now and July as we roll up to Secret Family Refresh, which is happening July 27th through 30th, with an optional weekend add-on to bring the family, refresh your mind, body, spirit, and your whole family with us. Haute Dokimazo and the Atlantis are super duper crazy excited to bring this to life and to be one of the first events to get to go somewhere and to be together and to do it safely. So we'll be talking with COVID safety experts and compliance officers. We'll be talking with the staff at the Atlantis. We'll be talking to lots of people on our journey to July, so everyone feels safe and comfortable on our way back to real life. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Thank you, Tui, for this fantastic information. We'll see you guys next